So this is where we stopped yesterday, and we would like to continue today from this point. And I would like to encourage every one of us to look at this table. What are the similarities between what we are doing here and what you do at work? What kind of questions do you usually answer when you are managing your data? What kind of analysis do you usually face? Probably your supervisor may be asking you, please, this and this are what we are looking out for. Whether you are managing a set of hospitals, you're managing a set of states, you're managing some clients, or whatever you are managing, I try to build this database with a mindset that virtually everything will be doing might fit into this. So I want to suggest that we will want to entertain questions, the kind of questions that you think you need to be attending to at your workplace. We will attempt to see how we can get formulas that will help us to answer those questions. Because the good thing about what we are doing is a hands-on demonstration of what you need to have to make your work easy, to improve your efficiency, to improve your productivity while working in the office. So these are some of the questions that I think we should be asking. However, we want to encourage us to draft questions that you usually face, either day-to-day or monthly basis or quarterly basis, whatever you have been finding it difficult to handle, so that we'll see if there are easier ways we can use Excel to answer them. Okay, so these are the 3 questions that were left, and we send this out via email to us to answer. Okay, somebody is asking, sir, please, can you give us a summary of the use of the various formulae, aggregate, some if, so we have an idea of what is applicable under what circumstance. Okay, what we are doing is when we give ourselves questions and then solve them, then we'll be able to know how that applies. So that's what I think. But however, we will attempt, when we know what they are, what they give us, what we use them to do in our exercises, then we can now attempt to give a summary of each. Okay, so that's what I want to suggest that we do here. Okay, so for the aggregate, for me, the major merits of using aggregate is when I sometimes want to sort, or I want to filter, and then I want my data, the values, to be specific to those categories of entries that I have filtered out. Like we saw yesterday, we're able to use it to answer this question: what is the total bill paid by clients in Abia State? Okay, so with aggregate, I'm able to filter for Abia State, and the same thing applies. Here is for FCT. So whatever that you want there, you can use it to filter that. I can also use it to, if there are accidental distortion or entries in my database, I can use it to exclude certain categories of data elements that I want to remove. Okay, so those are some of the things that we use aggregate for, as we have demonstrated, where if we have error value, rather than using average as a function, where it will now show you, we can't calculate this because there is a particular cell that has error value. And then it kind of frustrates you when you are looking for average of 1,000 people. And just because of one entry that is wrong in one cell, you're unable to handle the entire 1,000 records. But with aggregate, it will simply ignore that one error and give you what you want. Then for the sum if and sum if, they are logical. There are situations when we go further in the, I think that should happen during our fourth module. When we go into statistical statistical functions, we see some logical functions that will look at your statement, look at what you have asked it to do, and it begins to meet the conditions. For instance, you say, if Mr. A is 5 years old and he is a male, I want you to return this. So those are logical analysis. So Excel will be able to now analyze based on what is here. Is this person 5 years? Is he this? So if he matches the two of them, it gives you the true answer. So for sum if, it is not everything you are summing. You are defining some criteria that Excel will use. It will check, okay, this meets this criteria, so I'm going to add it. This one does not meet the criteria, it will not be added. So you can use it to identify and apply certain rules to certain categories of people. Now, let us look at this. If we did this very well, I want to give us 2 minutes. This is 2:20. I want to give us 2 minutes to type on the chat box your answer for, okay, let's say this is A, 1A, 1B, 1C. So I just want you to let me know, just type 1A is equals to this, 1B is equals to this, 1C is equals to this, if you attempted these questions. So I'm going to give us, okay, 2 minutes from now is 2:23. By 2:23, we'll just go ahead and attempt them.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello, Victor. I'm with you.
Yeah, can I type in questions that we can try?
Sure. Type the question. We'll use it and then answer.
Okay. Okay.
Oladeyinde, you say you can't hear me. Okay, you can hear me now. I was not speaking before. I muted myself. Okay. So far I've received only one response. This was the. Yes, somebody is raising hand. Okay. Utulu, I like this question. How many female patients in Abia above 30 years have BP above 100/80? Yes, we can answer this question. The only issue now is the values that we have on the sheet is specifying systolic and diastolic. We didn't get that. We didn't get the complete reading. So it will be easier for us to answer if you are asking how many of them, how many female patients in Abia above 30 years have systolic blood pressure above 100 or have diastolic blood pressure above 100. So it will be easy for us. We need to focus on one of the items as stated. Otherwise, we will need to now get another column. We need to have another column where we can now say these are their blood pressures. They are saying this over this, this over this, this over this. So I will attempt that question by just using, let me type that question out. I want to, this is the question that, so let me just insert it here so that, okay, so this is the question set, asked by Utulu. How many patients, female patients in Abia, above 30 years, have blood pressure? Okay, so I'm going to amend this. Systolic blood pressure above 100. Okay, so we are going to look at this. Okay, Annette say, okay, she got this also. Okay, there's another question here. Let me see. What percentage of male BP is above 100 and, okay, 100 is in Ebonyi? Okay, so like I said, okay, so I have muted everyone as we're getting a noise from the background. Somebody is lowering, I mean, is raising his or her hand up. User iPhone. Do you need our attention? Please, can you type out something or so that we don't just ignore your hand and continue? Okay, so Utulu, this is what we are going to be doing. However, like I said, we need to, let's work with systolic because this is what we have. This is what we have. When we want to handle calculations that involve the complete reading of blood pressure, then we'll be able to set out our rules for Excel to look at. So in the meantime, let us finish what we started yesterday. So what is the total balance from Ebonyi State, Ebonyi client? This is the balance, the column that we are looking at. So the balance here is we are going to use aggregates. Let's use aggregates in this column. So we are going to use aggregates. What is the total balance? So we are looking at the sum. What do we need to ignore? We need to ignore hidden rows and error values, which is 7. And our array is this point. So we're done with that. Now it looks like there is so much balance, but then let's look at. I just hope. Now let me see. I didn't. Okay, so this is 99. Now I want us to point something. Yesterday I was saying when you need to apply this, there is need for you to ensure that you deselect or you remove the filter that you have applied. Let me look at our chat box. If somebody, okay, these are just, okay, no problem. So I was saying yesterday, for you to apply any of your function in a set of array, make sure that you remove the filter. Right now, I did not remove the filter, but good enough, I know the implication of not removing the filter, and so I'm going to look at that. So I am going to do this. My range is from P9. The range that I have selected now is from P9 to P998. That is my range, the array. You will see it is wrong. I have skipped this. The reason why I have skipped this is this one was filtered out. So if I don't take care of this, it's going to give me an error, which may appear positive. So what I need to do is I need to drag this, take it up here. Then let me drag down. Let me see where I got to. I'm actually supposed to go beyond 1,000. So let's go. It said 99. Okay, you see the other part of this thing that we have neglected. So I am going to bring this. Now I have captured everything. Please, it is important that you ensure that you have removed any filter that you apply on this table before you do your selection. Right now, we have gotten the right cell range. So my array is starting from P8 and is ending at P1007. So now that I am done, I'm going to hit my enter. And then this is my figure. Double click again to be sure where it is starting from. It's starting from here up to 1007. Let me escape this. Right now, this is the balance of everybody in this sheet. But the question is specific to Ebonyi. So what it then means is that I need to filter out Ebonyi and then leave out the other states. Leaving out the other states means hiding them. And then hiding them, because I use aggregate, Excel is going to ignore those rows that are hidden. So I'm interested in Ebonyi. I hit enter. Ebonyi is just 2. So it has hidden the other rows containing the other states. And now I have my balance here. Okay, so this is 5727. So this our gentleman here who gave this is correct. So this is what we should get if we do it correctly. Okay, so now I am going to copy this. This is where we are supposed to put our report, our results. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to paste only the value. Somebody seems to be sending, what is the first 9 in the function? Okay, before the 7. Okay, when you look at the first 9 is sum, I guess so. So when we do the next question, we'll see what 9 means. But I think first 9 is the sum because we are looking for the sum, the total. Okay, and then the 7 is the things that the Excel needs to ignore using that function. Good. So our next question is, okay, by the way, this is what we got here. Let's use our sum if to see if we can get the same answer here. Now, what is the total balance from Ebonyi clients? Now, we are going to use sum if, and this is only one criterion. That criterion is saying that these people must be from Ebonyi State. There are no 2 conditions there. So we are going to type equals to sum if. Here you see the other one for plural. That means there are more than 1 conditions. But because there is only 1 condition in this question, we are using the first one. Sum if. Now it's asking you, what is the range that you want it to look for the criterion you are looking for? My range is in the state because Ebonyi is under the state. So I'm going to select my state here. By the way, let me escape because this thing, I have already applied a filter here. But because you have good understanding of cell range, you say my state is under F. My state is under F. So I'm going to say from F, was it F8 or F9?
let's see, 7. Okay, let's finish this. If it is not correct, we can adjust it. So it is F8 to F1007. So this is my range. And then it's asking you, what is the criterion you are using? My criterion is Ebonyi. And because Ebonyi is a text, I'm going to put that text in quotation marks. So I'm opening my quotation marks. I'm putting Ebonyi. I'm closing it. That is the criterion that I want. And once I am done identifying the criterion, I'm going to tell Excel that I am done selecting by putting a comma. And the moment I put a comma, the next item will be highlighted. So I'm going to put a comma. So it's now asking me, what range do I want it to sum? So my sum, we're looking at the balance. Balance is in P here. This is where the column that my balance I am looking for. So my balance is going to be P8. So I'm going to put P8 to P1007. That I am done. This on-screen tip is gone. So when I enter this, you see I'm getting the same answer. So I have used some if to get my answer, and using aggregate, I've also gotten the same answer. Now, there is something I want to tell us about cell range. For instance, now, assuming I can't remember the cell range, I am going to use some if. Now it's asking me for my range. My range is under state here, which is F. Now, I do not want to specify F something, F8 to F1000. I'm going to click here directly. I have just clicked under the F. So it's taking it from F1 till wherever the thing ends. I'm going to put a comma. I have indicated now, I am not interested. This is, you use this when we look at a dynamic drop-down list, where you know that the list where you want to be picking your options from is something that dynamic. Today it can be updated. Next year it can be updated just by going there to keep. So you have already selected that range. So I've done this, and then it's asking for my criteria. I am going to put Ebonyi. But remember that my Ebonyi is a text. So I'm going to put quotation marks. Quotation marks. I am done. And then it's asking me the range. I'm going to put this, my range here. We're looking at what now? Balance. This is balance. I'm still going ahead to do this. I am entering. I am getting the same answer. When you get hold of Excel, how it operates, then you may not bother yourself to identify the ranges. See what I have written here, PP here, and then FF. Just to tell you that from the beginning till the end, no range, it's just the entire column. Now, there's something else I want to point. If we need to avoid this, and it's good to note this, I am going to delete this. I am going to identify those states somewhere. Say I'm interested. I've written Ebonyi here. Now, this is where my Ebonyi is. So I'm going to apply the same formula here. Say sum if. What is my range?
This is my range here. I'm going to put this thing here. I'm selecting the entire column where all the states are. So you know that if you are selecting from the column header here, whether you apply filter or not, it will still work. So I have selected the entire column. I am putting my comma. It's asking me what criteria am I using. I do not want to type Ebonyi and put put them in quotation marks. I'm simply going to click Ebonyi. I put my comma, I am done. It's asking me for the cell, the range that I wanted to add. We are looking at balance. I'm putting here. And that ends it. I still get my same answer. Now, what this can help you to do is, if I have these questions, for instance, what is the total balance from Ebonyi State? Question number 1. Question number 2, what is the balance, total balance from FCT? Question number 3, what is the total balance from the different states? This, putting this state here, making cell reference makes it easy for me. So what it then means is, this one is for Ebonyi State. Now, assuming I'm treating a different answer now. So let me create a column here. Let me demonstrate, a row here. Now I have this question here. By the way, I do not want to copy and paste. I'm going to hold down my control, pick this and drop it here. I've duplicated this. But now I want to change this to Adamawa clients. Good. So this is with this, sorry. What color? Okay, this is the same color with this. And then this one is the same color. So my answer should be here. Now, what I will simply do is, here is 55. Okay, let me see. Do I need to copy? Do I need to F E2? What is E2? E2. Okay, now I want to copy this formula. I want to copy whatever that is here and paste it here so that I can simply change. The state. Now, when I copy this formula, see what's going to happen, and I paste it here, is 0. The reason is that, just look at the state under here, because here is making reference to Ebonyi State. So when I copy this and I could put it here, what is it making reference to? It's making reference to row 5, which there is nothing there. So, but what I need to do is here, let me lock this E2 so that I will simply be changing my value there. And so when I copy this, I'm still going to get the same answer here. I'm still going to get the same answer here because the answer here is talking about Ebonyi. But because my next question is Adamawa, I'm going to change this value here to Adamawa. The answer has changed here. And it's the same thing here because here now is still making reference to here. So I have answered here. What I should have simply done here was to copy the value and paste here. Now let me undo, since we're answering these questions. Now here, I copy this, I paste here the value so that I make it static. It will no longer change. Now, because his question here is asking for Adamawa, and my answer here, the function that I put here is making reference to this point. So if I need the answer for Adamawa in this point, I need to change this one to Adamawa. And then this is the answer for Adamawa. Because I've already made this one static, it's no longer changing. Now, the same thing can be done if we decide to have another question which is now asking, let's say this. This one now is asking, this one is now asking for, sorry, for FCT. So what I need to do is, because this is still a formula, if I change it, the value will change. So I'm going to copy this one and then paste the value here. Okay, let me undo that first. Let me pick the formula here. I pick the formula here, I drop it here, and then I pick this value here, I drop it here, still the same value, it's now static. Okay, I think there are questions, there are comments or questions. Let me see the chat board. Okay. Okay, how did you make that static before getting the value for Adamawa? Yesterday, we talked about when we had our round between function, and we said we didn't want it to continue to change the numbers dynamically. So we needed to either copy it and paste value so that you are removing the formula. That's what I did there. And I said that was too fast. Please repeat how you made the Ebonyi value static. Okay. So here, let me undo. Okay, here I have okay. So let me repeat what I did here. Let me repeat. This is a function now. This is a function. I want to use this function to get my answer for this one here. Now I am done with this. This is for Adamawa. I want to make this static. Now, let's see if we can use the same system that we use for round between. I am placing my cursor on this cell that I want to make static. I am right-clicking it. I am dragging it away. It's either I'll leave it here or I'll bring it back to where I want it to be. The important thing is when you right-click and hold and drag it away, wherever you are going to paste it, you are going to see option. For instance, now I am dragging it. Remember, it's my right button on my mouse that I'm clicking, holding, and dragging. If I move it to this point and I'm releasing that my right click, I'm going to see this option. Now look at my formula bar here. It is still function. But because I want to make it static, I just want that value to be there. I am not seeing that I am not seeing that option here. This is supposed to be the option. Copy here as values only. Maybe because this is a function, it is not doing that. I don't really know why, because in a round between, we're able to do that. But I will still investigate to find out. But since this is not doing, I'm going to escape. What I need to do is to copy this. I right click and this option opens. I am copying it. You can see the dash box around what I have copied. So what do? I need it to be here. So I'm right clicking and I am choosing these values only. So when I click here, values only, you see that this is my formula bar. It has disappeared. The function has disappeared. What I only have now is the static value. I hit my escape to remove the dash around the cell. But if I look here, that function is still here. But right now, I need to change, because this function here is taking a reference from this point here, which I have made absolute. So what I need to do to get the answer for FCT is for me to change this Adamawa to FCT and then have the value here for FCT. So if I come here and I choose FCT, FCT. This is the answer for FCT. So that is how that happens. And because this value is only for this value, I need to make it static. I need to make here contain this value and no longer the function. So I'm going to copy it. I'm still going to paste it here and put my value. You will now see that the function has disappeared. I can save. So that is how this is done. I've shown us the different ways that you can put, either you are putting a text inside quotation marks, or you are making reference to a cell where you need to specify what that cell should contain. Okay, so it's the same thing that we are going to do here. These ones we have used sum if. So if we go ahead to use the aggregate, I'm sure we know how to use the sum aggregate to get what we have also gotten here. Now let us attempt. How many clients are from FCT? This is direct, so we should be able to know that. How many clients is count? And is using to go, is going to be count if FCT. Count if it is FCT. Okay, you and I want me to do the aggregate. Okay, so let me do the aggregate. We are looking at what is the total balance from Adamawa. So I'm going to say I want to use my aggregate. My total balance is talking about summation, the sum totaling. So where do I have sum here? It's number 9. So it's either I type 9 or I double click this one. Comma. What do I want to apply? I want to apply filtering so that I can hide some rules. I also want to ignore any error. Peradventure, there is error somewhere. So that means this is the one I like to use. I am done. It's telling me next, what is the array? So because my state is in this array, in this column, the state is in this column, I can simply do this and I'll enter. Now, what I need to do now is, let me go and filter for, we're looking for Adamawa. So let me filter Adamawa here. Let me deselect all, select for Adamawa so that I can hide the rest. Let me see the summation. Okay, sorry. I made an error. This selection is not supposed to be this. Now, this is giving us another lead. When you make an error, just like I did here, I was supposed to get, we're looking for balance. My balance is in this F and not, sorry, it's in P and not F. So what I need to do is, here is where I made the error. It shouldn't be F. It should be here. So I have highlighted it and I'm going to just choose my P. So I must not necessarily start from the beginning again to type my formulas. That particular option, that particular syntax where I made a mistake, I could just highlight it and then go and choose elsewhere. So, okay, there are circular references. Now, when you see Excel telling you there are circular references, you know that there are a cell making reference to a product or to another cell where it is deriving an input. It's usually a very difficult situation. So now let's do this. Aggregate. I'm looking for my sum, and I want you to ignore any hidden rows. Now, this is what I want to pick. Now, if I pick this, let's see what is going to, what we are looking at here. Does this one, does any of these add value to what we have? Does any of these have value to what we have? Let's see. Okay, now let me look at, of course, this is, okay, let me see if we just need to define this. This is P8, P1007. Okay. Now, for this particular function, I just also realized that I may not be able to do my array from here, probably because it contains some figures. I'll still need to check that out, why it is like that. Okay. You see, this also contains function here. And I did not tell it to ignore functions. I only told it to ignore the rows that I may hide and ignore errors. But I did not tell it to ignore nested functions or any other functions here, okay? So this is what we got now. 18706, which is the same thing that we got here. Let me see. Just a minute, let me look at what we have here. Okay, this is 10. Okay, so my reference is also wrong. My reference is supposed to start from 10. It's supposed to start from, this is my balance, right? It's supposed to start from 10. Let me see this. This is 10. Okay, yeah, you know, it was supposed to be 9, but when we added, it was supposed to be 8. But when we added 2 rows, it shifted the table downwards by 2. So I was supposed to have added 2 in the cell. Okay, so now let me now select for Adamawa. Yes, so we have the same answer here. So you will see that the things that we have encountered here, with good understanding of your cell range, you'll be able to know when you hit an error. Here, we are supposed to have used P10 because previously it was P8, started from cell P8. And then even if we go downward now, we will know that it is more than this. It should be more than 1007 because the cells shifted downward. So the end of this table is not 1007. It should be 1009. Now let's see. If we select all and then go down, see it here. It is actually 1009 here. Because as we're inserting rows, we're also getting more rows added to the bottom of the table. and then the table is shifting downward. Okay, so that is how we can use our aggregate to get the same answer. Okay, so Ima is asking whether we can include the instruction to ignore function. Now let's try that. This is the place, right? We have function. Where is the place? We have function here. Okay, so we have function here now. Let's, this is the place. So minus this. Okay, let's start from the beginning. This is aggregate. We are looking for sum, which is 9. And then we want it to ignore error values. Yes. Nested subtotal. Okay. What we are looking for is this is subtotal and aggregate. We have aggregate, but we don't have subtotal. We have subtotal here. We don't have aggregate. There, our error, our challenge here is that what we have here is aggregate and sum if. The sum if is not here. So let's say, let's choose any of these ones. Ignore hidden rows, nested, ignore hidden, ignore error values, nested, subtotal, and aggregate. So let's try this one here. Let's try this one. And then our balance is here. Let's see if we are going to, okay, there is still secular referencing. So it may not be that, it may not be that this is only the reason why we are having this. I need to look at and find out why this is this. We have sum if here, we have average if, we don't even have aggregate here. So there are two functions here which were not captured among the options that we can ignore. Okay, so let's just stick to what we know. Here is aggregate. We are looking for number 9, which is value our sum. Then we are looking for 7, which is to our hidden. And then we are looking for P10 to P1009. And then when we come here to filter for Adamawa, where's my state? Adamawa. Then we have this as our answer. Okay, so I'm going to leave the rest. If there are any things unanswered here, we will do that. Okay, so let's just go straight to the question that we have for the BP. Okay, let's go straight to the question that we have. We want to, okay, so where did I put the question now? This person has disappeared. What happened? Okay. Okay, so sometimes you can get this challenge. Let me just. Okay, so let me just go to format. Do I have size here? This is too long. Let me write 4. Okay, so we are going to look at this question to see how we can answer it. This is the only question that we got. Okay. How many female patients in Abia above 30 years have systolic blood pressure above 100? Now, let's see where we can. So this is where we are going to have our question, our answer. So we are going to say equals. Number one, how many female is talking about counting. How many female patients? First of all, let us identify our client. Where is our gender? Gender here. Okay, so arbitrarily, let's just put F, 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 M, M, M. Okay, so usually we have more females. F, F, F. So let's just do this down, and I think it has gone to the bottom of our. It has gone to the bottom of our for all the 1,000 clients. Good. Now here, let me put F. We just put F here. Let me put M here. Good. Now here, we are going to put equals. So because the question one says how many, we are looking at the count. So we are going to say count. And because it's a logical question, we are going to use if. Count if. Now, how many conditions are we looking at here? Number one, this person must be a female. Number two, this person must be above 30 years. Number three, this person must have a systolic blood pressure above 100. So there are three conditions. So I'm going to use my
Hello.
the plural. Yes.
Hello. Fourth condition: the person must be from Abia.
Okay, so there are four. Good. There are okay 4 conditions. Female, number 1. Abia, number 2. 30 years of age, above 30 years of age, number 3. And systolic blood pressure must be above 100. So it is a multiple condition that must be met before it is counted 1. Now, criteria range 1. We are looking at female. So I'm going to put my female, the criteria range 1 is here. So I'm going to put, this is K, starting from here, K10 to K1009. What is the criteria? I'm not going to put F. If I put F, I must put it in brackets because it's a text. So I'm going to put here, sorry, just here. That person, this condition, you should look for F, which is female, comma, criteria range number 2. Number 2 is the person must be from Abia. And the range is in this one. This is F here. So it's F10 to F1009, comma. What is the criterion? Abia State. I should have also written Abia somewhere here. So I would like to crave your indulgence for me to put Abia here. I'm going to put Abia here, which is our F2. Please remind me that it is F2 that we are supposed to put Abia. That's number 2. Number 2 criteria met, been imputed. Criteria range 3. That person must be above 30 years. And our age is here. our age is H. So I'm going to put H 10 to H 1009. And so what is the criteria? That person must be above 30. Next one is criteria number 4. We are looking at systolic. We are looking at systolic blood pressure. My systolic blood pressure, sorry, I need to shift this, which is my, where is my systolic blood? Okay, systolic blood pressure is here. Systolic blood pressure is I. So that criteria is I 10 to I, sorry, this is one. This should be I 10 to I 1009. Now, what is the criteria? It should be more than 100. Okay. This also, I ought to put this in. I guess so. Just. So the answer is 0. Okay, so what is, okay, the answer is not 0. Let us put our F2 is Abia, right? We said F2 is Abia. Okay, so there are 47. Where again, did I put any, did I make any cell reference? Okay, no, I think that is all. E3 is the cell address for female. Yes, you are correct, E3. But we are looking for our male, which is here now. I've put male here. So Utulu, going by your question, the answer is 40. So what this is telling us is that there are 40 female who are from Abia State, whose age is above 30 years, and whose systolic blood pressure is above 100. So that's how to answer it. Okay. So has this sunk into us? I will just give us a time to look at this, maybe in the next 2 minutes. If anybody is not clear, we can look at this question and then answer them again. Okay, there are some questions that I'm getting, and I'd like to read them. Say, please, can we look at that formula again? Sure, we'll look at it again. Can we also use random selection for the gender column? Random selection, or to use random to assign male and female. I think the random that I know of is with numbers only, not with text. Okay. Then the other ones, I think we should look and answer them again. Okay. We'll answer that question number 1 again. Can you go over the F10 and F2 again? And the I10. I10. Okay, I'll take the whole process again of answering that question 1. Needs a lot of practice, and it is getting more technical and tougher. Yes, you know, it's not really technical, but it's getting more exciting. That's what I would think. Can we go over the formula again? It's getting more complex. Maybe more slowly this time around too, okay? I didn't get the I10 to, okay, I'll repeat that again. Okay, so we are going to do that again. Now,
hello, Capito. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, where most of us or most people are not getting it, maybe in the next time when we are looking at table, we try to shorten the number of table we're using. This one you use like 1 to 1,000. So copying from the beginning to the end is always where people have challenges. But if the value is maybe like 20 or 10 values we are working at, so it's easier for us to pick 1 and to 10. So
okay.
that's what I think. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that feedback. The reason I actually use large data base like this, when we have up to 1,000 records, so that we really appreciate the speed with which each operation can get things done. If we use 10 or 20 records, yes, it can enhance our understanding, but appreciating the speed with which you accomplish things, I usually use a very large record, but given I'm going to limit the number of records to a sizable number to help our understanding. Now, I need to define some things in answering this question. I'm going to answer this question from 2 perspectives. 1, I'm going to use cell referencing. 2, I'm going to make inputs, direct inputs. So, and having finished, okay, let me see. I'm trying to now create more space so that, okay, now let's use these places here. Let's use these spaces here, this space here for our answers. Now, I say I'm going to use 2 approaches to solve this problem. 1, I'm going to use cell referencing. In using cell referencing, I need to define. The question here says, how many female patients? So I'm looking for female. The next one is in Abia State. So I'm looking at the states. So I'm going to type Abia. The next one is above 30. So I'm going to put above 30. And then the next one is systolic above 100. So I'm going to get above 100. Now, these are the conditions that must be met. So I'm going to use cell referencing to answer this question. So let me put my answer here. I've been asked to take it gently. So what function will help me answer this complicated question. Now, this question is complicated in itself, that when you look at your Excel table, the table you have, there is no straight way you can go straight to this, except by the time we do pivot table. Yes, I think pivot table can help us to get this, where we'll get this, and then when we get there, please remind me so that we can attempt this question using pivot table. So there is really no straight way you can answer this. For instance, if you filter, first of all, you say you are filtering Abia. I think, yes, you can also do this by filtering. You filter your Abia, then you go to age. You won't be able to filter above 30. Okay, you will now be picking 31, 32, 33, 34 like that until you get to, and it's going to be very tedious, because when you start picking, you are going to pick each of those ones. Then after picking that one, you now come to the state or the female you filter for F. Then you now go and start picking 101, 102 for systolic blood pressure. You can really do it, but it's going to take you time. But when you understand that there are functions that can help you answer complicated questions like this, it will help you. Now, some of us may see the operation we are doing now as complicated. It is because the question we are answering is also complicated. There are 4 conditions that must be met for us to get our answer. Now, I am going to say equals. So what function am I looking for? The question is asking how many. So that means we are counting. It is not total in terms of quantity used. It's counting how many female. So we are going to look for count if. Because there are several conditions, we are going to use the F, the plural form of the count if. If this person is a female, hold it. It's just like you can use this in terms of stratification. First of all, this person must be a female. Secondly, this person is coming from Abia. Thirdly, this person must be above 30 years of age. Fourthly, the blood pressure, the systolic blood pressure must be above 100 millimeter mercury. So I am using my ifs. Now, Excel is asking me, what is the range for the first criterion? The first is that person should be a female. So I am starting from female here. I am putting here, my range is where my data starts flowing from. So it's starting from here, which is J10. Starting from J10 here, J10, down to the end. Then I put my comma. Now see, this is the cell that what we are working at. Let me put it here.
Sorry,
it's asking me
J10. This J10 is the diastolic pressure. I thought we're looking at the sex right now.
Okay, I made a mistake, right? Okay,
yes,
yeah. I'm supposed to put it, I'm supposed to look for female. Where's my female now?
The next column.
The next column here. Now, I can simply hold this, drag it like this. I've made a mistake, but I've simply just dragged it instead of starting from the beginning again. Thank you for that correction. So, after I've selected my array, it's asking me what is the criterion. My criterion, I'm going to make a cell reference. It must be that, it must contain whatever that is in this cell. I'm done. It's asking me for the next condition that must be met, that this person must come from Abia State. And my state is mentioned in this column. So it's starting from here, down here, comma, Now, I go up again. What is the condition or the criterion that must be met? I want the person to belong to whatever that is in this cell, comma. What is the third one? Now, your condition, you might have up to 20 or thereabout. I don't know how many it can contain, but it can contain several criteria. So if it is only 2, you close your brackets. If it is not, you continue. So because I have another one, the third one, I'm going to select the range. The third one is talking about years. My years is here. So I'm going to click here, down to the end, a comma, and it's asking me what condition.
No,
Sorry,
no.
that's not years. That's the best year.
Okay, sorry. So this is my year, right? Good. Thank you very much. So having selected the range, it's going to ask me what is the criterion. My criterion is it must be more than 30 years. So I have a fourth one, which is a systolic blood pressure. I guess this is the one here. I click here. I hit down to select all. I put my comma, and then it's asking me what criterion do I want it to use. So I can now say, I want this. If I put comma, it will ask me, do I have the 5th range? But that is all. And because that is all, let me remove the comma. Rather, let me close the bracket and I enter. It gives me 47. So that is solving this problem using cell references. So I said I am going to do this again using text. Now I'm going to apply what we have learned in the past, and that is I want to see here. I'm going to color it like this. Now I want to copy this and put here. If I copy this, some things are going to change. If I copy this, my state will come here, because wherever I'm copying, I'm just moving from B to C, which is a column. So all these things will move here. This one will move here. All of them will move by 1 towards the right. To avoid that happening, I need to lock the things that are lockable so that I can make these points, all these ranges, to be fixed. What do I do? All my ranges, I'm going to lock them. I've locked this. The ranges, I'm locking them. The ranges, I'm locking them. The ranges, I'm locking them.
That's using F4.
Using F4. And then depending on the layout of your keyboard, you could press Control or you could press Function to activate it. Now, if I copy this to another point, these things will also apply. They will also be looking for cell reference in here. But good enough, I'm not making a cell reference, rather I am changing them. So having done that, I escape. Oh, I shouldn't have escaped, I should have entered, because I locked them, I did the operation. Okay, so let me lock them again. F4, F4, F4. My battery is low. Can you imagine that? F4. I enter. Okay, so I have here, I'm going to copy this and drop it here. It's giving me 0 because it's making reference to this point, which I told you earlier that we need to change. Okay, so when I click here, this point here, K, what is it? It's supposed to be C1. My C1 is supposed to be female. So I'm going to put it in double quotation. Then the next one is C2. C2 is Abia. So I'm going to put Abia in double quotation. C3 is above 30. I'm going to put this in double quotation. Then my C4 is greater than 100. I'm going to put it greater than 100. When I enter it, I have done the same thing. So this is with text, whereas this is with cell referencing. Sorry, guys. Let me just give us maybe we can continue later in the evening because my battery is down. I came out of the house where there is no light just to get network. So we can continue later this evening.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Hello.
Hello. It appears he has a problem. He has a problem with power.
Yes. Okay.
I think his battery was running out.
Okay. So
Battery was down. So I think he was saying that we should just continue later. Anyway, our time is fast spent, and I think we have this is 3:38. Oh, I can feel myself breaking. I think we just reconvene later.
hello, Pato. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. You said we should give him like. You said we should give him like 3-4 minutes. That he
Oh,
wants
is that
to go
what
and
he
put on
said?
his. Yeah, said they're going to go and put on his gen.
Oh, okay. But he's not at home now. He has to go back. Okay, maybe there's
No.
you get back home then.
Yeah, he said there's a gen there. He want to go and put it on.
Okay.
Okay, so we just give him like 5 minutes. So yeah, I hope everybody's hearing me. Can everybody hear me? Hello, class.
I don't think so, but he did say we should continue in the evening. I heard him say so clearly.
No, he said he called me.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? He said we should give him like 5 minutes. Let him put on the gen.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I hope everybody can hear me.
But I hope some people have not left.
The major challenge now is some people have left with the mindset of coming back by 6 p.m.
Come back later, yes, because he said so.
He said we are going to meet later to continue. So I don't know how to.
Yes, I actually agree with I think Emmanuel. He said we'll be meeting later in the day. I can see a lot of people visited
Okay. So when he comes back, we tell him that will
Yes, I think,
by
yeah,
6.
the persons have left. Maybe we might just want to continue later in the day.
Okay, that's
What
fine.
he said.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys. See you later.
Okay, so
Right,
I can call him and tell him that the class are okay. I decided to
Yeah.
convene by 6. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, please go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Please, we're sorry for that hitch. We'll be meeting by 7 o'clock later today, please. Thank you.